Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is a Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you.
You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and living in a manger.
Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying,
Glory to God in the highest, heaven and on earth.
Peace to those on whom his favor rests.
When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another,
Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened,
which the Lord has told us about.
So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was living in the manger.
When they had seen him,
they spread the word,
and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart.
The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to All Is Bright, our first TreeHouse National Christmas celebration. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jimmy Austin, a Senior Outreach Associate with TreeHouse. If you're hearing about TreeHouse for the first time, welcome. Or if you've been around TreeHouse for years, we are grateful for you. No matter what brought you here, I hope you are encouraged and inspired. Tonight, we are celebrating how the light of hope is shining in teens and communities nationwide. And we are excited to be doing that at Christmas, a season that is all about light. Think about that for a minute. So many Advent and Christmas traditions revolve around light. We hang lights on our houses, we put lights on the tree, we light candles. Why do we do this? Because the very first Christmas was all about light. Christmas is when Jesus, the light of the world, was born. Christmas is a time to celebrate the gift of Jesus' light. We celebrate the hope that his light offers, a hope that pierces the darkness. It says in John 1:15, the light shines in the darkness, and darkness has not overcome it. At TreeHouse, we want every teen to shine with hope. And whatever darkness a teen may feel or face, we don't want that darkness to overcome them. In hard times, or in hard years like this one, the darkness can feel very heavy. At TreeHouse, we help teens know that there is always hope. We believe that there is a light ready to shine within every single one of them.
Where is the light? In a dark room, on a dark path. When you've lost your way, you look for the light. Sometimes you long for the light. And then you spot it. Maybe a flicker, maybe brighter, showing you that there's more. Do you see it now? Do you see the light? Can you spot it? Do you believe it? Hope knows there's always light waiting to shine, even when things look dark, especially when things feel dark. Where's the light? Hope knows there is light waiting to shine. In you, in him, in her, in every community, untold amounts of light. Hope knows how bright that light can shine. God made you. God loves you. You are beautiful. You have so much to offer. You are lovable, capable, and worthwhile. You have a future. The light of hope is bright. Let it shine.
I love how that video ends. Let it shine. That video makes me so excited. Those teens are lighting it up. That's what we try to help happen every day. Our mission at TreeHouse is to end hopelessness among teens. Let me tell you more about how we do that. It starts with this. We love teens. We believe that they are a vital part of our communities. But hopelessness is becoming a defining story in this generation. And it's holding teens back. We talk about hopelessness as a knot, because that's what hopelessness can feel like inside teens, a tangled knot of lies and pain. TreeHouse wants more for teens. We provide grace-based programs and safe spaces for teens to belong. Sometimes I think about it this way. We take a world that is big, scary, and full of anxiety, and we make it small. We create community. Teens can talk about what they are really feeling. When teens feel safe, they can open up and come alive. They can shine. At TreeHouse, we point teens to 3 truths. 3 things we want them to know and believe. You are lovable, capable, and worthwhile. You are loved without strings and never alone. And you have a future. This year has been rough. That tangled knot of hopelessness got bigger and messier in 2020. I joined TreeHouse in 2015. For 5 years, I've been connecting with teens at one of our sites just south of Minneapolis. I've been around long enough to see teens struggle with tons of things. But this year, hopelessness took new forms. Hopelessness happened as single parents, afraid of getting sick and not able to pay bills, told their teens to stay home. They couldn't afford to miss work, and teens were isolated. Hopelessness happened as teens fell behind in school because they didn't have internet at home. Hopelessness happened as families lost jobs because restaurants closed down. They had no emergency fund. Hopelessness happened as teens went months without seeing their friends in person. The hopelessness of 2020 can seem so dark, so heavy, but even in all this, there is still light. The light in teens can get buried under a bunch of junk. Teens lose sight of their worth and their future, but TreeHouse mentors keep reminding them that they matter. TreeHouse teens keep supporting one another, and the light in them grows. I see teens all the time who are natural influencers. And when the light in them is turned on in full force, they have the power to change lives. Their light makes everything around them brighter. Their families, their schools, their communities. We want you to see that light in teens and how it's shining in more teens in more places. We want you to believe in that light. Because the more we all do that, the more we can envision a future where all is bright.
Good evening. I'm Marcus Peterson, Vice President of Outreach at TreeHouse. It was 13 years ago when I was a college student that I first visited a TreeHouse site. I started working at TreeHouse after I graduated, and I've never left. Today, I have the honor of leading and supporting our outreach staff across multiple sites. That means people like Jimmy, the mentors who every day are connecting with teens. I get to pour into them as they pour into teens. As Jimmy said, we love teens. And because they're created in God's image, we believe there's a light inside every single one of them, which makes us think of the beauty found in luminaries. How many of you have taken bags like these, put candles in them, and lined your driveway? I'll be honest, I'm not a luminary expert. I don't know if it's because I'm a millennial, but I love what they represent. One definition of the word luminary is something translucent, a vessel that gives off light. But here's the other definition, the one we really love. A person who's a luminary is someone who's a natural light, someone who has the capacity to inspire others. And that's how we see teens. The light's in there, God put it there, sometimes it just needs help to shine. Tonight, we're going to share vision and stories about how this is happening in communities across the country. TreeHouse is now in 60 sites in 10 states, with 18 new sites open just this year. That is enabling us to reach more teens, because that's where it starts, with teens. And at TreeHouse, we create safe spaces for teens to belong. When teens feel safe and are given the space, they often open up. I saw that at the very first support group I visited. I saw teens share real, raw emotion, even in front of a new person like me. During my visit, I heard a 15-year-old girl talk openly about being abused. She didn't know me, but she knew she trusted TreeHouse. TreeHouse was her safe place where she could belong, and therefore, she had hope. The TreeHouse model provides space for teens to build healthy relationships, talk about their life, receive support, and have fun in an environment where they are known and fully loved. Historically, this model's been built on being in person with teens. But this year, what happened again? A pandemic. COVID impacted you, COVID impacted me, and COVID impacted TreeHouse. It meant we couldn't meet in person with teens all spring, and that's a big deal. We have a relational ministry, and all of a sudden, we couldn't be in person with teens. That was hard. But if there's a silver lining, it's that we learned TreeHouse can work virtually as well. In just one crazy weekend in March, we saw our leaders completely pivot to virtual programming. They didn't miss a beat to do the same thing that we've always done, help teens know they're loved and not alone. That programming has been a lifeline for many teens this year. Teens are constantly hearing destructive, negative messages from school, media, sometimes from their families. At TreeHouse, we help them know the truth. They are loved without strings. I like to say that we get to partner with God in all of this. We get to tell teens what God thinks about them and about the sacrifice that Jesus made for them. No person or circumstance can take their value away. This means their life is worth living. Every teen has purpose, and every teen has something to offer. When teens start to believe their worth, they can stop letting circumstances rule their lives. They can live into all that is possible for their future. Their light can shine. Tonight, I'd like you to hear from a couple of teens who are learning this. First is Jamir, a 13-year-old in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Jamir's a really cool kid, and the video he made gives you a glimpse of what video calls have been like for a lot of TreeHouse mentors the past few months. Teens might be holding the camera like this, their face might be barely on the screen, and it's great because teens are connecting, not isolating. For the past 4 years, Jamir and members of his family have lived in a hotel room where space is tight. Meet Jamir.
Well, my name is Jamir. Math is my favorite subject when I'm at school, so that's what I try hardest in. I have a lot of siblings, so I have 12 siblings. I have a mentor. His name is Nick. He's very supportive when I need support. He's always there to put a smile on everyone's faces, and he's just a great guy. In the Halloween party we had this year, I dressed up as Nick, and we got to take a picture with each other, and he let me borrow his name tag. And then on one of our one-to-ones, we played Smash Bros. And he hadn't played in a little while, so it was kind of fun to play with him. Nick has helped me learn how to become a better person, just like with my communication skills. Being able to talk to more people, because like when I'm at school, I only talk to the small group of friends I have, but like when I'm at H2O, I can like talk to all of the people that are there. I go to support groups, and it's where so we're in a group together, and everyone gets to talk about how their week was. Everyone gets a turn, and we just describe how our week was, and then if and when we need support, everyone is there to give it. What I like about support groups is that I can just like if I'm having an off week, I can everyone will be listening to me, and then they'll have like encouraging words for me to help me get through the next week. I've learned that I can be an actual I can be help for others instead of like causing a lot of trouble, and like I can help and support others when they need it, and I can help when they need like math help or things like that.
I love that. Jamir doesn't just receive support, he's learning he can give support. And when I heard Jamir's excitement about dressing up as his mentor for Halloween, I knew we had to see it. So here they are, Jamir and his mentor, Nick. If you can get past Nick's mask, look at Jamir. Jamir is proudly wearing Nick's name tag. Jamir has a mentor to walk alongside him in programs like Support Group, where he can have fun, be heard, and support others. Thank you for sharing a piece of your story with us. Now here's another teen to meet, Bruce from Levittown, Pennsylvania. This video is a little different because we get to listen in on Bruce having a conversation with his mentor. You can see how comfortable Bruce is with him. He's experienced hopelessness, and through TreeHouse, he's found a second family and hope.
What brought you to TreeHouse? What was happening in your life at that time? And like, how did you view yourself before you started coming to TreeHouse?
I was going through a hard time because I recently had lost one of my friends. And my mom at the time, we were getting new to the church and we were getting new to everything. And we found out about TreeHouse. And at first I didn't really want to go. But then my mom, she told me, hey, give it a try. It's not going to hurt. If you don't like it, you don't have to go back. Okay. Didn't really think I was going to like it. And turns out that it's helped me through a lot.
Yeah, I remember that first night support group. You were a little hesitant at first, and then at the end, you're like, you know what? I think I found my new family, and you told us all that. That was pretty cool. Tell me about some areas in your life that are hard for you. How have you experienced hopelessness in your life?
One being when my friend she got killed. It was really hard for me. It was probably one of the darkest times in my life because I was starting to get to know her and get to know who she is and kind of break her out of that being shy shell, as some people call it. I've had just times where I just didn't feel like living anymore. I had times where I didn't have that good of a friend group, and I thought that I was not worth anybody's time. There's been a lot of them.
Yeah. So what has 2020 and living through this pandemic been like for you?
My parents had gotten COVID, which I couldn't see them for about a month, which is hard because I haven't done that in a really long time. It's just, I don't know. I'm just really, really happy that we found TreeHouse. It's done so much, not just for my family, but other kids, other people that were struggling. It's gave kids a home to go to, and it's really hard to, especially in this time and place where there's so much dark and there's so much, I guess, grief. That makes sense. It's just so and for them to give it a spotlight and to give them a outlook on things and be like, hey, you're not alone. Hey, you're here. Like, you're okay. You're gonna make it through. Because for me, I never thought I would make it through that. I never thought that I would be able to make through not being able to spend time with my parents. But TreeHouse was there.
Cool. You talked about this a little bit, but say a little bit more about what TreeHouse has taught you about yourself. Like, what have you learned about Bruce from being part of TreeHouse?
So TreeHouse has helped me through a lot because the old Bruce was not such a good person as this one is currently now. The old Bruce was more of a, I guess, bully than a God follower and Jesus lover, and just was not the same person. Now I feel very confident in myself. I feel happy, which I haven't felt that in a really long time until I really got into TreeHouse. TreeHouse has helped me with so much, and they continue to do so. And they have helped me so much that I want to eventually become a leader myself. Because I know what it feels like to be hopeless. I know what it feels like to not have a good supporting friend group behind you. I know what it feels like, and I feel like for me that I could help other students like become who they're meant to be.
We are so grateful for these teens. It's an honor for our TreeHouse mentors to walk alongside teens. As you heard from Jamir and Bruce, they're becoming lights to other teens in their community. We've got more to share tonight, more stories of light and hope. But first, we are in for a musical treat. We are privileged to hear from Known, a youth choir in Minneapolis, led by music educator Cortland Pickens. Cortland has led worship nights for some of our TreeHouse sites and for TreeHouse winter retreats. Cortland founded Known in 2019 out of a desire to reach the next generation through music. The group's name, Known, speaks to a belief that every teen should have their gifts be known and recognized. We couldn't agree more. Please enjoy their version of Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. To the world, joy to the world. Say, let every heart, yeah. Let heaven and nature sing, yeah. He rules the world with truth and grace. The glory of his righteous Son and wonders of his love. And wonders of his love. No more let sin and sorrows grow. No thorn infect the ground. And he comes to make his blessings flow far as the curse is found.
And joy to the world, the Lord has come. Yeah.
That song from Known was incredible. Well done. I would have never had the courage to stand up and sing in front of people when I was a teen. I probably still don't. As we've said, TreeHouse is all about teens. But there's another essential component to TreeHouse's work: partnership with communities. Teens need communities around them, communities who believe in them and the light they have to offer. Think again about a luminary. Even when that luminary is lit, there can be a lot of forces working against it staying lit. If you've ever put these on your sidewalk or driveway, you know how wind or other elements can try to blow them over or put out their light. Teens are the same way. They need support. There are a lot of forces working against them, so they need communities who believe in their light. We need principals, coaches, parents, pastors. Maybe you want to volunteer. Maybe you want to donate. Maybe you want to start a new TreeHouse. Or maybe you know a teen who could benefit from TreeHouse. It takes people from all across a community working together. TreeHouse can equip your community, any community, with a model to end hopelessness among teens. We want to share some stories like that, of community leaders who love teens and see their potential. They see the light inside each and every teen and want it to shine.
Hi, my name is Michelle Livingston, and I'm an area director here at TreeHouse. I've been a part of TreeHouse for about 11 years, and this year I had the extra special privilege of opening a new TreeHouse site in Edina, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. 2020 has been an interesting year to launch a new site at TreeHouse, let me tell you. As many of you guys know, much of what we do entails creating safe spaces for kids to come and belong. And with the onset of this pandemic and its shutdown and social distancing guidelines, you can imagine the difficulties we face in creating such a space for kids. But God reminded me early on that He loves these type of odds. He loves to look at situations that we think are impossible and make them possible. So our goal was to launch the new TreeHouse in the spring. Unfortunately, COVID had the same goal. And while I started out in March feeling pretty optimistic that, you know what, we can still stay on track. This is not going to derail us. We got this. By July, I was completely discouraged. There was not a teen to be found at our Edina TreeHouse. The social distancing plus the isolation that teens were feeling was just keeping them in their homes, and there were nowhere to be found. Finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get in my car and start driving. I was desperate. And as I did, I just started praying. I just started asking the Holy Spirit, you know, lead me to where some kids are, lead me to where some kids need TreeHouse, are living in this area. And as I was praying, I started to feel a prompting to go to this townhome complex that was directly in front of me. I pulled up there, and behind the door, I met a woman named Rachel. Rachel turned out to be the social worker at that particular townhome complex, and their facility offered programming for their younger kids, but no programming for their teenagers. So on that particular day, Rachel had actually been like racking her brain trying to figure out what they could possibly do to offer some type of support for the teenagers in that community. Sure enough, here comes TreeHouse, and we have whatever solution she needed at that moment. We began working together, and they became our core kids at our Edina TreeHouse. We now have 15 kids that come regularly to our site every week. We also started virtual support groups at the local high school, but most importantly to me is the impact that I'm seeing that TreeHouse is already having on some of the teens that we serve. For instance, we had a new teen come a couple weeks ago, and the first time that he came, he shared that he had been having suicidal thoughts. And while having suicidal thoughts sucks, what was great for me is that, man, we have actually created an environment in this short time where teens feel comfortable immediately to say things out loud that they've never said before. And to me, that's what TreeHouse is all about. I am so incredibly grateful for the community partners that we've linked arms with during this season to end hopelessness among teens. Some of the highlights are that we have a local church that's given us a fabulous space that was beautifully decorated by one of its church members for us, so it's specific to TreeHouse. We also have some great volunteers that are bringing meals every Tuesday, so our kids' bellies are full. And I have a fabulous staff of 9 volunteers that interact with our teens every week. Teenagers really are a light in this world. And our desire is to see that every teen's light shines with hope. To be honest, when I think back, I really do wish at times that opening this treehouse had been easier, but I know that it all came together in God's timing. And after all my striving and my hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, God just stepped in a moment, made things happen. It's just such a great reminder for me and hopefully for you guys during the season that, man, with Jesus by our side, there is always hope. He sees teens, he sees our communities, and there is no amount of darkness that can overcome his light. Happy holidays.
Hello, my name is Stacey Miles from New Albany, Indiana. New Albany is a sleepy little river town just outside Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a new member of the TreeHouse family with our program set to officially kick off after Christmas. My journey to wanting to serve teens started with my daughter. She is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and trauma. For a long time, I didn't know that about my daughter. I was just a mom who could see my daughter was hurting and struggling. I spent 10 years searching for answers to the things she was dealing with. We had her in front of all the right people, but the truth of what had happened to her stayed hidden far too long. Finally, my daughter got the support she needed, and the light in her started to shine brighter. I know there were other teens like her, other teens experiencing trauma and hopelessness. These teens needed a safe space to talk about what they were really feeling, a space where they can be known and valued. I wanted to help the teens like that in my town. So that has become my mission. A few years ago, I founded an organization that is dedicated to serving survivors of sexual abuse, exploitation, and trauma. That's our big umbrella mission. But even as I came to know that was my charge, I was missing the right model to start with. Until last year when I discovered TreeHouse. Right away, I knew TreeHouse was what I had been missing. The TreeHouse model equips us to create safe spaces for teens to belong. TreeHouse's grace-based curriculum helps teens be themselves. Support groups and mentoring help teens know their value, and TreeHouse's training and cohorts help me connect with other leaders doing this work in other communities so that we can encourage one another and do the best work possible. The TreeHouse model works for teens who have experienced trauma, and it works for all teens because all teens need to know they are loved and not alone. TreeHouse is also helping solidify some exciting connections here. The local housing authority is partnering with us. They are letting us use a rec center to meet with the teens. A local church has introduced us to teens who will be our core group. This church has adults who have been praying for years for a way to support youth in this area. A professor at the University of Louisville is helping us to start a community garden in a neighborhood that was recently identified as a food desert. The teens are going to help build it, plant, and harvest. This garden will help teens gain a lot of practical knowledge as they serve our community and heal. And we have a deep volunteer pool of other caring adults ready to mentor, make meals, and more. Working together, this community is on a mission to end hopelessness among teens. All of this is just getting started in New Albany. And even against the backdrop of COVID, we're finding momentum. I can't wait to see where we are a year from now. With TreeHouse in our community, we can help more teens know that they are lovable, capable, and worthwhile. We can help more teens, like my daughter, find hope. Because when teens find hope, the whole community wins.
Michelle and Stacey, thank you. TreeHouse's proven model is helping light up communities across the country. Like I said, that includes 60 sites in 10 states. That gets me fired up. But you know what? We're not even close to finished. TreeHouse's vision isn't for some teens to have hope. TreeHouse's vision is for every teen to have hope in communities everywhere. Why does this matter? Because hopelessness isn't a locational issue. It's not unique to certain places or certain demographics. Hopelessness is in every community in this country. We've been talking a lot about light tonight, and we all know light spreads. You put one light in a dark room, and it pierces the darkness. When you add more lights, it multiplies. And that is our vision for teens and communities nationwide. And this year, maybe more than ever, that light is needed. In August, the CDC came out with some painful findings. They measured how young adults are doing in this pandemic. And the CDC found that 1 in 4 young adults have seriously considered suicide in the past 30 days. Suicidal thoughts have drastically increased in this pandemic. They also found that 3 in 4 young adults are struggling with at least one mental health problem. Things like anxiety, depression, stress disorders, substance abuse. Those numbers break my heart, and they probably don't surprise us. This year has been difficult for most of us. But those CDC findings make it clear how teens have it especially hard right now. TreeHouse isn't giving up on teens. We won't let the darkness overcome their light. So in the midst of the pandemic, we are so grateful we've been able to serve more than 2,000 teens between April and October. 2,000 teens who didn't have to walk through this year alone. That's 2,000 teens who had a safe space to share, and 2,000 teens who were told over and over again that they are lovable, capable, and worthwhile. Some of those teens maybe heard that for the first time in their lives. And we're so encouraged to see what that has added up to. 92% of TreeHouse teens reported this year that they were able to form healthy relationships with peers and mentors, up from 76% a year ago. God gets the glory. 65% of teens say they've been able to build coping skills to navigate life's obstacles, up from 48% a year ago. This happened during COVID. Have your coping skills gone up in the past 6 months? The TreeHouse model is working. 76% say they've discovered personal value and purpose, and 77% are moving toward a stronger relationship with a loving God, up from 67% last year. That's hope in action. That is light that is shining brighter every day. Tonight, we don't simply want to share with you how others are working toward this vision. We want to invite you to be a part of it. Together, we can partner with God. We can have a front row seat to see how He lights up teens, families, and communities. Together, we can see the light of hope cast out darkness. Together, we can pursue a vision where all is bright.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, lost to
One of the most beautiful things about luminaries are that no two lights are exactly the same. Each one shines a little differently. Each light is appreciated for what it is and how it shines. It's the same with every teen. God created each teen to shine in unique ways. As they do, it is a beautiful sight. During Silent Night, you saw individual teens, our true luminaries, lighting candles and paper luminaries to show us all just how bright hope can shine. In a field in St. Paul, Minnesota, these luminaries spelled out a message of hope and it shone so brightly you could see it from miles above the sky, changing the way the whole landscape looked around it. That's exactly our vision at TreeHouse, hope that transforms teens and communities. My most repeated words this year are, "It's okay not to be okay." I tell myself this. I remind our staff of it. We tell it to our teens. We're not here to say there is no darkness. The darkness is real, and it's unique to each one of us. TreeHouse creates safe spaces and trusted relationships to talk about it. I'm so proud of how our team and volunteers have done that this year. We have shown up to bring hope and light when things, almost everything today, doesn't feel okay. And as messy as 2020 has been, I'm reminded of the messiness of that first Christmas. The world Jesus was born into was dark and full of unrest. The world didn't celebrate his arrival. He was born in a manger, in a stable, which is the very definition of messy. But on that first Christmas, just like today, nothing is too messy or dark for Jesus to transform. Jesus is the light. Darkness cannot overcome that. I am through the roof excited about the 2,000 plus teens we have served during COVID from April through October at all of our sites across the country, and the feedback we've received from our teens telling us TreeHouse is making a difference. These teens are bringing light to their communities. We can never take that for granted. Light just doesn't appear. It comes through action. Teens are experiencing transformation. We need your light too. Tonight, I'm asking you to join us. Join us in the mission of ending hopelessness among teens. When you give a financial gift, you allow us to fund programs and events, hire dedicated staff, expand in more communities, and create innovative curriculum and content to help teens grow in living hope. I'm hoping tonight has fanned your own flame to join us in this work. Marcus talked about the multiplying power of light. I'm so excited to announce that tonight your donations will literally be multiplied. All gifts given tonight and through the end of the year will be doubled. That's right, doubled. Light has a compounding effect, and so does your generosity. Here's what your gift can do. A gift of $300 supports 10 different teens being mentored this week. A gift of $500 supports 20 teens participating in weekly support group. A gift of $1,000 supports one outreach staff member's touch points with 25 teens for 1 week. There are multiple ways to give. You can simply text All Is Bright to 71777. If you're watching on the event page, just scroll down and follow the donation prompts. If you're watching on Facebook Live or later on YouTube, you can go to treehousehope.org/bright. And of course, if you'd prefer, you can send a check. You can find our mailing address and other donation platforms on our website at treehousehope.org. Again, every gift tonight and through the end of the year will be doubled. No matter what size of gift you give, we are so thankful, and we appreciate your support and partnership in all forms. Please help us spread the word about TreeHouse. Pray with us. Believe with us in the power of hope for every teen. There is no limit to hope, no limit to how bright it can shine and how far it can multiply. Thank you for helping us pursue a vision where all is bright.
Thank you to each and every one of you who joined us tonight. It was such an honor to be able to celebrate the light in teens and communities nationwide, and to do that with you. All of us at TreeHouse love the part we get to play in our teens' lives. It's such a privilege. We couldn't do any of this without you and your support. Thank you for believing with us. Thank you for seeing the potential in teens and communities. Thanks for helping the light shine. To end our evening, we're going to hear from our friends, Known Youth Choir. Thanks again to them and to you. Have a great night and a very Merry Christmas.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltations. Oh, sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let's adore him. Oh, come, let's adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Christ the Lord. Christ the Lord.
The Lord.
Oh, Christ the Lord.
Christ the Lord.
So we'll praise his name forever. Come on, right where you are.